Think about it. Every single transaction, every trade on Wall Street, every time you make a payment, it all creates data. This isn't just a bunch of numbers. Financial data is literally the lifeblood of the entire global economy. So today, let's get into the absolutely massive challenge of managing it all.
So, just how big are we talking? Get a load of this number 450 petabytes. That is the colossal amount of data that just one big bank, JP Morgan Chase, has to manage. And to give you some perspective on that, 1 petabyte is 1,000,000 gigabytes. It's a scale that's almost impossible to wrap your head around.
You know, this brings up a fantastic analogy. If all that data is an ingredient, then financial companies are getting hit with a tsunami of ingredients every single day. So the real question is, how do you turn all of that chaos into something useful, something reliable, something valuable? Right, so we're not just talking about big numbers for the sake of big numbers. This is a fundamental challenge for the whole industry. The sheer size, the crazy speed, and the complexity of financial data, it's created what you can really only call a data tsunami. And here's the thing, you've got to understand, in finance, data is everything. It's the input that kicks off a trade, and it's the output that proves it happened. That's why having a solid, secure, and super fast data infrastructure isn't just a nice to have, it is absolutely essential for the health of the entire financial system. If you get it wrong, you're not just looking at one bad trade, you could be facing huge market disruptions or crippling fines from regulators.
So, how in the world do you start to tame this data chaos? Well, a brand new specialized field has emerged to do just that. Let's actually define what we mean by financial data engineering. See, financial data engineering isn't just one thing. It's this perfect blend of three different worlds. You've got the hardcore technical skills of data engineering over here, deep financial market expertise over here, and this special knowledge about the quirks of financial data right in the middle. Okay, here's the textbook definition, but I want you to zero in on one key phrase, domain-driven. This tells you that it is not a one-size-fits-all job. It's a practice built specifically for the unique pressures of finance, where security is intense, regulations are complex, and you need absolute bulletproof reliability. So, what makes this field so different? A great way to understand it is by looking at the classic three V's of big data. That's volume, velocity, and variety, but seeing them through the very specific lens of finance.
First up, volume. And the scale here is it's mind-boggling. Take high-frequency trading. In just one day, the New York Stock Exchange can spit out data with over 2.3 billion records. Billions every single day the market's open. Next is velocity. We're talking pure speed. And it's insane. At its peak, the system that reports options prices had to process nearly 46 million messages per second. Just try to imagine building an infrastructure that can handle that kind of speed without just melting down.
And finally, there's variety. You know, financial data isn't just clean little tables of stock prices anymore. The real gold is increasingly buried in what we call unstructured data. Think about it. Computers sifting through millions of pages of legal filings or news articles, or even social media posts, all to find that one hidden risk or that tiny trading edge. That is a massive, massive technical puzzle to solve.
But you know what? It gets even crazier. Beyond those three V's, the world of finance has its own layer of super tricky, domain-specific puzzles that engineers have to solve every single day.
Yeah, the problems just keep piling on. Like, imagine trying to track a company's performance when there's no single universal ID for that company across different systems. Or you're constantly having to rebuild your systems because a new regulation just dropped. Oh, and by the way, you're often doing all this while trying to connect to ancient computer systems with data locked away in a dozen different departments. It's a real headache.
A director of data engineering really nailed it. He basically said, look, it's not enough to just be a tech genius. A financial data engineer has to commit to understanding the whole ecosystem, the regulations, the governance, the business context, the whole shebang. So after laying out all of these immense, complicated challenges, you gotta ask, who are the people that actually solve these problems? Let's talk about them. And this is where we bring back our central analogy. The financial data engineer is the master data chef. They're the expert who knows how to source the best ingredients, which is the data. They have to follow these incredibly complex and strict recipes. Those are the regulations. And their entire job is to prepare a perfect, reliable dish, a high-quality data product that the whole company can trust. So what does it take to be one of these data chefs? Well, it's this powerful combination of three things. You need the deep technical expertise of a data engineer, the domain knowledge of a financial analyst, and a special skill for understanding the unique quirks of financial information. They're basically the bridge between Wall Street and Silicon Valley. Which leaves us with one final big thought. In a financial world that's being built less on gut feelings and more on pure data, are these highly specialized data chefs, the people who control, shape, and serve all that information, becoming the new true masters of the financial universe?